Next, we have a short talk in English regarding the virtues of the Quran. Ahmad Bobat.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا نحن نزلنا الذكر وإنا له لحافظون صدق الله العظيم. Respected teachers, elders, students and parents, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today I'll be talking about the Quran, a clear proof. In the verse that I have just recited right now, Inna nahnu nazzalna dhikra wa inna lahu lahafidhun, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, indeed we have sent down the dhikr and indeed we are its guardian. In this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala proclaims that it is He and He alone who has revealed the glorious Quran to mankind, which means it is His word. This claim is followed by a proof to validate it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Himself is its guardian and protector. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protects something, nothing or no one can ever interfere with it. So the continual preservation of the Quran is a proof that it is the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are many other proofs about the divine origin of the Quran, including its i'jaz. The challenge to mankind is to invent even a single verse to match the Quran's perfection. However, the preservation of the Quran is a proof that even a child can understand. It is obvious that a very powerful being must be safeguarding the Quran for it to have been preserved for over so many centuries. My dear friends, let me tell you a story about the protected book. Allama Qurtubi rahimahullah narrates an interesting story about the preservation of the Quran. Once there was a stranger who attended one of the debates that the Abbasid Khalifa Ma'mun al-Rashid used to hold at his court. The man spoke eloquently during the debate. Afterwards, Ma'mun summoned him and sensing that he was not a Muslim, he asked him whether he was a Jew. The man replied he was. Ma'mun then invited him to embrace Islam as a test, offered him incentives for doing so. However, the man preferred to keep his religion, the religion of his forefathers. A year later, the same man attended the court of Ma'mun as a Muslim and spoke learnedly on Islamic jurisprudence. Afterwards, Ma'mun called him and asked him if he was the same man who had come the year before. He replied in the affirmative, and upon being asked how he had come to become a Muslim, he told his story. After he had left the debate the previous year, the man decided to examine the different religions. Being a good calligrapher, he made 3 copies of the Torah and making some additions and omissions in the process. And he took them to the Jews and then they bought them. And then he made 3 copies of the Injil, again making some additions and omissions, and took them to the Christians who bought them. And then he did the exact same thing with the Quran and took them to the Muslims. The Muslims checked them, and when they noticed the additions and omissions, they discarded the copy and refused to buy them. I realized then that this was a very protected book. That's how I came to embrace Islam, concluded the man. The preservation of the Quran is a great miracle. The means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala employs in its preservation are also amazing. Parents who encourage their children to memorize the Quran are aware of the rewards they and their children will receive for doing so. Children themselves are not. If you were to ask a typical Tahfiz al-Quran class what are the rewards for memorizing the Quran, majority of them would not be able to reply. Despite this, the desire Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala places in the heart to memorize the Quran is such that very few, if any, were to dream of giving it up. Nowhere in the whole world will you see classes full with children memorizing a book that they do not understand. It is a miracle of the Quran that people are able to learn a whole foreign alphabet and how to read it in the foreign language. Furthermore, they memorize the whole book in the language and keep it memorized for the rest of their life. After learning something about the miraculous nature of the glorious Quran, we need to take some practical steps to connect ourselves with it. Number 1, Reciting the Quran regularly. Recite 1 juz daily. If that is not possible, recite half a juz or a quarter, but recite it daily. If the remembrance of Allah or in its other various forms such as tasbih, tahmid, salah, and nabi, dua are compared to taking an individual vitamin for one's spiritual health. The Quran is like a multivitamin for it contains them all. Number 2, attend a tajweed class in your locality to learn how to recite the Quran properly, which is one of the rights of the Quran. Number 3, attend the lessons that the ulama in your locality had delivered of the Quran have delivered in order to understand the message of the Quran. Number 4, practice upon the teachings of the Quran. Number 5, propagate the teachings of the Quran. Number 6, respect the people of the Quran such as the Hifz and the ulama. Refrain from disrespecting them and talking ill about them at all cost. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah used to say, become an alim if you can. If you cannot, become a student of ilm, and if you cannot, then have love for them, and if you still cannot do that, then do not have hatred for them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us love for and affinity with the Quran, the ability to memorize it, recite it in a proper manner, and understand it and act according to it. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.